Hello there, and welcome to the 1-2-11 podcast. In this episode, I was joined by Veys and Tom Hazelwood to discuss the best 11 players we could put together for a 2000s versus 2010s Premier League Ultimate Face-Off. Now, while some of our selections may be divisive, we had a lot of fun recording this podcast and hope to do more fantasy face-offs in the future. We hope you enjoy. Cool. Right, we'll start with the 2000s goalkeepers then. Tom, did you wanna lead us on that one?
Well, for me, I loved Van der Sar. Thought it was great, but I think the best overall, especially towards the later half of that decade, was Petr Cech. I don't really think it's fair to put Van der Sar ahead of him or anyone else. So for me, it's Cech.
I'll chime in on that one and say I was surprised that Van der Sar I think was 32 when he joined Man United, which I had no idea about.
Wait, really?
Yeah, he was super old when he joined Man United.
I know. My dad always said we should have got him earlier because we had a spell of crap keepers, and we should have had Van der Sar a bit earlier. But wow,
he had Roy Carroll in goal.
He joined.
Yeah, exactly. Barthez, Roy Carroll. Yeah, he was at Fulham, wasn't he, before that as well? Ended with Van der Sar.
Yeah.
But I largely agree with what you said, Tom. I've got Cech as my number one, but also as an outside pick, and you'll laugh at him. I've my third keeper down is Brad Friedel.
Mate, I thought you were going to say like David James, and I would have accepted that.
No, JMO's he's in my honourable mentions, but given that Brad Friedel played, I think, over 30,000 minutes in that 10-year period.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, he's got a really actually a decent clean sheet record for the teams he played for. He's played for Blackburn and Villa, and he scored in that time as well. So,
wow. I mean, you can also talk about Tim Howard as well.
He was also in my honourable mentions. Yeah, I had Tim Howard down.
Can I make my case for Van der Sar?
Yes, mate. Will. Of course you can.
So, he joined Fulham in 2001 for 7 million. Had over 10 years in the Premier League. Kept Fulham mid-table for all them years. Then joined United for 2 million. In them 10 years, he was Player of the Season for 3 years and won 4 Premier League titles as well.
It's a very convincing case.
He also has the record for most clean sheets in a row, I think, doesn't he? It's like 13 or something.
Something like that, yeah.
He does have the Premier League record for that. So, Van der Sar, I wouldn't mind if anyone put Van der Sar in as the number one spot, but for me, I just think Cech was world class, and I think he was world class for longer. But
Van der Sar for 10 years.
It's a very tough one.
Yeah, but I mean, in this time period, Van der Sar played for 5 years. Cech played for 6.
Yeah, I'll always remember what the commentator said in the Champions League final when we played Chelsea. As Ronaldo stepped up to the penalty, the commentator said the best goalkeeper in the world against maybe the best player in the world, and that always gave me goosebumps whenever I hear that.
I mean, if I'm gonna just put it in. If I'm going to put it in terms of literal numbers as well, Cech conceded 0.59 goals a game on average, and Van der Sar 0.73. So there's a bit of a gap there.
Bloody hell.
My other outside choice, I'd mark Schwarzer down as well.
Schwarzer. One keeper we haven't talked about is Reina.
Yeah, Reina can definitely go in there as well.
My uncle's a Liverpool fan, and even though he was massively deluded, and I think this is a ridiculous statement, he did say that it was about 2008 that Reina, which is nonsense, but I think he was a good keeper.
Yeah, again, his numbers aren't bad either. I think if you look at because obviously the teams they played for, Cech, Van der Sar, and Reina tend to have the best numbers in that period as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, Will does make a good case for Van der Sar, but I do side with Cech on this one.
Yeah,
was goal for the Chelsea team that conceded like under 20 goals in a season? Was he in goal for that?
Yeah, he was.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll stick him in.
Yeah,
he's part of what they call the Iron Triangle between him, Terry, and Carvalho.
The Iron Triangle.
Yeah,
I looked at that 04-05 team, and some of their defenders were people I've not heard of. They had like Ferreira as their left backs a lot of the time. Glenn Johnson played 17 games in that season.
Hey, don't give away my Paulo Ferreira pick for later on.
So we'll agree on Czech then.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Van der Sar, but Czech for me, number one.
Yeah.
Right, so right back.
I mean, you two are both United boys, so I don't think I know where this is going.
Right back for me, it's no debate, no question, Gary Neville.
But Jake has a debate.
I'm interested to hear what he has to say.
No, so on my sheet here, I also have Gary Neville at number one, right?
Yeah.
And then backing up that, I did have Paulo Ferreira down because he did play right back as well.
Yeah, he did.
And I also have Loren from Arsenal as well because he's an invincible.
Yeah.
Played a lot of games for Arsenal, and he's an ex-Pompey player as well, so that gives him some stock.
I did not know that. There wasn't many world-class right-backs in that era. For me, Gary Neville wasn't even the sauciest player, but he was just consistent at doing the job. And
who's the sauciest player, Tom?
Play right back.
Well, no, the Premier League's never had a Carlos or a Zanetti or something, have they?
Okay, yeah.
There's
Steve Finnan, mate.
There's quite a good quote from Robert Neville.
Oh, hang on, Will, you dropped out there, mate. Go for it again.
Say that again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, mate.
Yeah.
There's an interesting quote from Robert Pires. He said that he never had a good game against Gary Neville because Gary Neville was just so tough.
Yeah. Oh, really?
That it was just impossible to get past him, and he'd just say things about his family. He was racist to him.
Well, we were always dirty bastards against Arsenal.
No, but the thing was, Neville knew that he wasn't a better player.
Yeah, I know.
But he tried everything to get into his head. So.
Well, he had to.
Yeah.
The thing with Neville is Man United dominated the Premier League, and throughout that dominance, they never wanted to replace Neville. They never bought a right back to get him out. He was always consistently in the team, no matter what you think of him as a player. I think that's pretty impressive. So, honestly, it has to be him.
I mean, I have got obviously favourabilities towards Glenn Johnson for his time at Pompey and scoring maybe one of the best goals I've ever seen, where he chested it and then volleyed it with his left foot from outside the box. But I don't know. Maybe Glenn Johnson doesn't get in there.
No, I don't think. It's an honourable mention.
I've already put Neville down, so Neville
has to be.
Yeah,
Neville.
I think Gary Neville was solidly in there.
Centre halves, or should
I mean, it's interesting for centre halves because obviously, like, we get 2 picks here. I've got 6 players written down. So
I've got a very, very interesting shout here that I don't think is going to make the team, but
no, I like it. Honourable mentions are always up there.
Yeah,
definitely.
Right, who's going first then?
Go on then, Tom.
All right. Well, for me, the 2 that I would pick would be Terry and Ferdinand.
Right.
The honourable mention I want to give is William Gallas.
Ooh.
Because he was Terry's centre-back partner for most of the season, in the season when Rooney first came in and they only conceded 15 goals. He then went to Arsenal as a part of the deal with Ashley Cole when he didn't even want to leave. But he went to Arsenal and became their captain and did very well with them. And they could have won the league in the season when we won the dub. So I think he was a solid centre-back in that decade.
No, definitely. I definitely do think he's worth a mention. I just don't think he gets in this 11.
No.
Maybe. I mean, maybe in that one season, maybe he does, but I don't know if overall he does. So you've gone Terry Ferdinand. Interesting.
Yeah.
Will, what about you?
Got Terry Ferdinand, but I also have an honourable mention for Nemanja Vidic.
Oh, of course.
For 7 million he cost, and he won 3 Premier League titles with us, and formed one of the best partnerships seen.
Vidic
honourable mention,
was
and
solid
was
as a rock. The reason why I put Terry ahead of Vidic was because he was a better goal scorer. Vidic and Ferdinand were surprisingly not very good at getting goals for us, but Terry brings that, and he was a leader for Chelsea's title-winning teams, captained all of them.
I've got another.
Go on, Tom. Yeah, go on.
I've got another little shout we could argue is Sol Campbell.
Yeah, Campbell was also on my list. I had Terry and Campbell as my 2.
No. No. Well, for me, Rio. I know this might be biased, but Rio's number one.
Just to annoy Tom.
Rio was as fast as anyone, a solid brick, and he was very underrated on the ball. He was very good on the ball, passing, bring out from the back. He was better than anyone else in the league.
30 mil though, a lot of money.
World record fee.
I think Rio has to go in.
Well, Sol Campbell, free transfer, I think he was.
Yeah, from Tottenham.
Yeah.
I have to agree. I think Rio Ferdinand's the best centre back we've ever seen in the Premier League.
Wow, I'm glad to hear that, Jake.
And for any Liverpool fans out there, I'm putting him above Van Dijk as well.
Oh, rightly so.
Yeah, I think Rio Ferdinand's absolutely class and definitely makes this team.
Yeah, good, good. Yeah, I was worried for a moment.
I also had William Gallas down as another reserve pick.
Yeah.
Along with Ricardo Carvalho for his time under Mourinho.
Yeah, I was going to say Carvalho,
yeah.
But I think Terry and Rio, yeah.
And then, funnily enough, I had Vidic as my third pick there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vidic was a shout. He was cheap as well, Vidic, 7 million. Cheap at the time.
And I think just for the banter, Jamie Carragher comes in as a mention as well.
Yeah, I had Carragher written down too.
Yeah.
He was, I think, underrated as well.
Yeah, but I think him with Daniel Agger, I think, was a good partnership. I really liked Daniel Agger as well.
I know we're only talking about Premier League, but I remember hearing about the Champions League when Mourinho was at Chelsea, and Chelsea met Liverpool. I think it was the semi-final or the quarter-final, and Chelsea absolutely dominated them, with much the better team. But Carragher was just played out of his skin, and it's the reason Liverpool shit out their way through the tournament and stopped Mourinho winning the Champions League with Chelsea. I think Carragher is worth a mention as well, but he doesn't make the team.
No, I think when you're comparing Jamie Carragher and Rio Ferdinand, it's another level.
It's not a debate, really.
Yeah, I know.
So far then, we're looking at Cech, Neville, Terry, Rio.
Yeah. Annoying how many English players are going to have in this team.
I know, right? God, it's going to feel like we should have won something, isn't it, at the end of this?
I know.
Left back.
Depressing.
Could be another Englishman.
Maybe.
Left back, there's only two.
Oh, so I've only got two as well.
Yeah.
Two.
Is it Ashley Cole and Patrice Evra?
Yeah. Yes, it is. John Arnorisa does not get near it.
Got a cannon of a left foot though. Come on now.
Yeah.
What? You're not putting Paul Konchesky in your top three? What? I'm joking.
Oh no.
I don't think
wanted to
Evra's a
say
debate.
Evra.
No, not even.
No. I want to say Evra
Yeah.
because of. Well, for me, he was better than Cole at getting forward. But Cole was still very good at getting forward and was just probably the best left back of all time in defence. It was the only left back thing that gave Ronaldo a hard game whenever they met. And Cole was just solid as a rock.
I think he was a little bit ahead of his time as well in the way that he played. I think even now he'd be a solid left back now.
Yeah.
Part of the Invincibles as well.
Yeah.
I think.
But I'm never going to say he's miles ahead of Evra. Evra was still a world-class left back. But Cole was.
I actually wrote down that in that decade of them 10 years, Cole won 13 trophies.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. He's
mad.
Probably the best fullback of all time. I mean, obviously, there's loads of fullbacks I've not seen, but he's so good.
He's very, very good.
In the team.
I actually met him once.
Really?
Yeah, he was in Tesco in Guildford, and I met him in there.
Did you speak to him?
No.
Oh,
he was with his kids, so I don't think he was like, sort of people don't approach him. But I couldn't believe how small he was in real life.
Really?
Yeah, he's like 5'7".
He would be.
Wait till you see Tom Chick.
Yeah, exactly. No, he wouldn't have looked more to me. But
no, that's fair. To be fair, he's bigger than you as well. So
yeah, I would have had them. I had the same experience with Michael Dawson about 3 months ago at the garden centre. I recognised him even though he had his mask on, but because he was walking around with his kids, I didn't approach him.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Big old Dawson. He's probably bigger than you, Jake. He was huge. He was genuinely massive.
Are we moving on to midfield?
Yeah. Where did you want to go from right to left again, or where do you want to start?
Yeah. Start right mid.
I see. I struggled with right midfielders.
I only got 3, and one of them shouldn't even be on the list. But,
who's that? Who's that one?
Nanny.
Nanny.
Now, can I say Nanny is in the brackets on my list as well, but not for that era. He's on the brackets for the 2010s for me.
Wait, really?
He's one of my favourite players. He was.
I like Nanny as well.
Who's just too inconsistent?
Right, as the recording died on its arse there, we'll start from right midfield again. Tom, did you want to throw your right midfielder into the arena?
Yes. So I mentioned Nanny, but obviously for me he doesn't make the team. It's just an honourable mention. But the two to talk about, Beckham was still world class for the first few years of this decade, before he went off to Madrid. And then obviously you've got Ronaldo, who I know mainly played on the left, but at the start when he came to United he was on the right. And even in his even at his best for United, he was still sometimes on the right as well, and did very well there. And considering who we have as our options for left wing and up front, I think Ronaldo makes the team as my right wing.
It's a good way to get him in to the team. Exactly. I also, as another mention, I had Freddie Ljungberg as well.
I was about to say I had Freddie Ljungberg as an honourable mention.
Yeah, Ljungberg.
I did struggle for right midfielders from this era, and I don't know if that's purely because I mainly watched the Premier League from 2004-05 onwards, but I did struggle for right mids.
I think Ronaldo's probably the shoe-in then. Do you think?
There wasn't. I mean, Chelsea. Robin was electric for Chelsea, but Mourinho didn't play him anywhere near as much as he should have, and then that's why he left. But I think it just has to be. Well, I don't know. It's out of Ronaldo and Beckham. For me, it's Ronaldo.
Yeah, Jake.
Again, it depends if you're going on the player that he became, or if you're going on him purely on his United Ronaldo.
Even United, he won the Ballon d'Or.
Even purely on United, I'd say Ronaldo.
I mean, did he have a 42-goal season, didn't he, for United?
He won the Ballon d'Or in 07-08 and then stayed for one more season after that and was still great.
I think he's got a good one.
I think he probably... there's no one else really better, is there?
No.
Right, centre mids. This could get tasty. This could get very tasty.
Yeah, this could.
Remember, it's a 4-4-2. It's got to have some balance in there.
I think this will be the first one where we don't actually agree when we come to the...
I did think about balance a little bit, and then I also thought, no, just pick the two best.
Yeah. Right. So, who's going to start off and be the controversial?
Can I go first?
I know you want to.
Yeah. So, just as an honourable mention to begin with, I've got a couple there just that aren't going to make my team here, but I'm going to mention them. First one, I don't think either of you would have thought of him, but Seth Fabregas is one of my mentions.
Yeah, no, I've got him. He's on my list too.
He's got a ridiculous number of assists for his time at Arsenal in that period. Even as a 17-year-old onwards, I think he was fantastic in that period. And I've also got Makaleli recommended in there.
Yeah.
Even though he was great at Chelsea, I don't think he's better than the other 4 players I've got down.
No. Other honourable mentions I thought of was Xabi Alonso.
Yes.
Yeah, I had him down.
Michael Ballack and Essien.
Yeah, Michael Essien was also on my honourable mentions. Yeah. Nice.
There was a lot of good midfielders, but none of those make it for me.
I'm even going to say Michael Carrick goes in a mention for me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Carrick.
Oh, I forgot Carrick.
I've confessed my love for Michael Carrick to you two before. I'm a big fan.
I know. I loved Carrick.
Who's your starting?
My starting one. Well, one of them, and I don't think you can argue against him playing, is Frank Lampard.
Who's the other one?
In this time period, he's got over 100 goals from centre midfield. Ridiculous.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? I think I've got it down here.
The thing with Lampard is, would you want him as one of the 2 centre mids, or would you want him behind the striker?
No, but this is the point, is that I'm disregarding that it's a 4-4-2.
I know. Because I know in the 04-05 season, they had like Good Johnson or whatever he was called up front, and he was crucial for bringing Lampard into play. Like Lampard was the most advanced midfielder, and that's how he got all his goals.
He got player of the season that season.
Did you just say Good Johnson or whatever he was called? Ida Good Johnson, come on.
Good Johnson.
04-05, Lampard got player of the season as well. He did.
Yeah, he was.
It's just buckets of goals. So many goals.
3 titles in the decade.
Well, there's so many good strikers in this era that I'm happy to put Lampard as one of the 2 centre mids.
He's one of mine starting, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well,
I don't know
we'll do
what
that then.
So it seemed that they were all in agreement that Lampard makes the team then.
Yeah, he has to. But then it makes it very difficult for the other pick.
Yeah, for all the other world-class players to fit in this team.
I've got 4 people to say that go into this spot.
So have I.
Same. Yeah, I've got 4 as well.
Go on, Will. Who have you got?
Scholes, Gerrard, Vieira, Keane.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Me too.
Yeah, so we got to pick one out of them 4, lads.
It's for me, if you're talking about prime Keane, then he goes in. It's just whether or not we believe from 2000 to 2005 when he was at United, was he at his best?
I mean, I've got Patrick Vieira as my starter.
Vieira? Oh god. No.
And I've got him in there to provide the balance.
Yeah, no. If we're doing that, then for me it's Keane. Keane ahead of Vieira all day.
You having Keane ahead of Paul Scholes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Next
Ooh, from United fans as well. I can't believe it.
Yeah. I know. Oh no, it's stupid. Scholes should be in the team.
I don't want to disregard Gerrard though. I don't.
Oh yeah, I know.
Scholes was in the team from the start of 2000 all the way to 2010 as well.
Yeah, he's probably played the most minutes of anybody there.
A lot of goals as well. He got
Surely
over 100 goals.
The team.
What, Scholes, Lampard? Or are you now wanting to replace like Lampard with Roy Keane?
Yeah. Yeah, no. Well, Lampard was world class, but again, he only started in like 2005,
and he still got 100 goals.
I know.
Well, he played for West Ham before that as well.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Well, yeah, I know, but I mean,
it's good there, wasn't
Scholes was considered one of the best centre mids every year for the whole entire decade, and he was also a great goal scorer.
Over 100 goals in that era.
I mean, I might change myself. I think I might, if I'm going to pick 2, have Lampard and Scholes.
I think Lampard and Scholes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we need to talk about Gerrard. Lots of people say Gerrard was the best of the 3, but I just don't see
Gerrard
that.
Gerrard came third in the Ballon d'Or in 2005.
Oh, that's a good point as well. Champions League winner.
Yeah, it's because he dived in the box. They never should have won that Champions League. Absolute joke. That never gets talked about. I know, if it honestly doesn't. Are people not aware that he massively dived to win that penalty to make it 3-3? It's the biggest shambles I've seen. If I was a Milan fan, I'd be in bits.
Tom, it doesn't matter how you do it. You know.
Yeah, against that Milan side, you've got to try everything. You've got to try everything.
Definitely. No, I'm not having go at him for it. It's just he doesn't get mentioned.
You sure?
He just doesn't get mentioned.
I mean, he was captain of probably the best comeback you've ever seen as well.
But he has never actually won a Premier League, bless him.
Yeah, he never won the Premier League.
Were Liverpool even that good in that decade in the Premier League? They never really challenged that much, did they?
I mean, under Benitez, they were top 4 every season, weren't they?
Yeah, but I mean in terms of challenging.
Oh, I mean, you could just do a 4-3-3 and do Lampard, Gerrard, Scholes.
Yeah, but then you want 2 strikers from this era, don't you?
Do you, though? I'm looking at my list of strikers, and I'd be happy to only choose one.
I mean, I could just choose one as well.
Ashley, I don't know.
I don't mind it.
We could rearrange this team when we get to the strikers. We could think about it.
Yeah, I think we
just
should
to get
do
those
that.
3 in there. I can't believe this is a mostly England team.
Well, yeah, for me right now, Vieira wasn't there for long enough. Keane was coming towards the end of his career in this decade.
Yeah.
So Scholes was world class every single year of the decade, so he has to be in. Lampard scored a ridiculous amount of goals, so he has to be in. So if we feel like Gerrard needs to come in, we'll come back to it later.
Okay, I like it.
That's what I'm saying.
Left-sided.
Left
wing
wing.
or left mid?
I've got 3, but one of them's already in the team because I did have Ronaldo out here on the left.
Yeah.
Who are the other two?
So Robert Perez.
Mm-hmm.
No.
He's got great stats for this era.
No, I know, but that means you might have missed out someone, which you shouldn't have.
And my other left midfielder is Ryan Giggs.
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought you were going to miss out Giggs and say Henri is the left mid.
No, I've got Omri out front.
Ooh.
I know, but...
So this is the dilemma now, lads.
Yeah, actually, Henri... Well,
Do we
if
put
we
Henri
do-
left mid to have more strikers, or do we put Henri up?
Yeah, but then you leave out Ryan Giggs.
Yeah, no, if we're doing a 4-4-2, which was... Giggs was great, then Giggs goes in and Henri is that left striker. But if it's a 4-3-3,
Henri goes in.
Henri is not my lone striker. He'll be the left wing.
I don't know if you agree, but of all the players we're picking, I think Omri is the greatest.
People always say that, and I always just think, well, what about Ronaldo?
Do you want me to slap you with some stats for Omri in this period?
Wayne Rooney.
Go on.
225 goal contributions in 223 games.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
No,
157 goals, 68 assists. That's one every 85 minutes.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, but did he win the Ballon d'Or in any of that time?
He didn't need to, Tom. He was class.
I know that he got shafted, and I think it was very corrupt that he should have. I think it was Papa Nedved won it the year that Henri definitely should have. I think Henri came second.
Nedved.
Is that Papa Nedved, did you just call him?
Yeah, well, it is Papa Nedved, isn't it?
He's Pavel Nedved.
Pavel, yeah, it is. Papa. Oh no,
Papa.
Papa. I'm going to stick with it anyway. Papa Nedved. No, yeah, he fucking Pavel Nedved won it ahead of Henri in like 2004, and this came around the same time Juventus got relegated because of how corrupt they were. So, and Henri was just miles better than that season.
2002, 2003, he had 24 goals and 20 assists in 37 games.
It's
I think Henri goes in.
He's 2 times PFA Player of the Year. I mean, come on, he's immense.
Obviously, Henri goes in. Will it's just was
but
he
where?
the best? Was he the best?
I think a 4-4-2 Henri left striker.
Yeah, because I want to have another striker.
Yeah.
I want Giggs in on my left mid, the longevity alone.
I put Giggs there. What over 1,000 games, Man United. I mean,
how many Premier League titles did he win as well?
13 on it, I think. 13.
Yeah, he's something like that.
Mad.
He's a joke. I think I'm putting Giggs in.
And I'm talking like hairy-chested Giggs as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that goal against Arsenal.
Yeah.
I know it was before 2000, but that goal against Arsenal.
Oh, Giggs.
Vieira gave it away.
So, are we looking at a midfield of? Are we looking at like for 4-4-2? We're looking at Ronaldo, Lampard,
Scholes, Giggs.
Oh, I just don't know if Giggs gets in for me.
Why?
Because Henri left mid, and then 2 strikers that I'm looking at are better than Giggs. That's the way I see it. But
yeah, but I'm going to have Henri over the striker that you two both want.
I want Henri.
No. Giggs goes in. Giggs goes in. We're going to do, and Gerrard can piss off. We're going to do a 4-4-2. Giggs left mid.
I've already written down Henri. I have.
And then we'll talk about the striker next to Henri.
Yeah, we've already cemented Henri in there, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who's the other striker? I've got
Rooney.
Yeah, simple, nice.
You've both gone for Wayne Rooney.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he walks into this team.
Wow.
Please don't try to debate it, Jake.
Whether you want to put him number 10, striker, whatever.
Now, I love Wayne Rooney, right? And I would probably put Wayne Rooney in this team. And I thought you two were both going to go for Ruud van Nistelrooy.
I love
He
that.
just wasn't there long enough.
I'll talk about Ruud after what you're about to say, Jake.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna throw in just because I love him. My other striker that I did pick was Didier Drogba.
Fernando Torres.
No, Didier Drogba, mate.
I absolutely love Drogba.
I like
and I know,
Drogba.
I'm probably the only United fan.
I like
love
him.
Drogba.
No, yeah, and now Torres as well. To be fair, he only played I think 79 games in this time.
Yeah,
is the
he
reason
did.
But
I
he
didn't put
scored
him.
56 goals there in them.
And 10 assists as well in those games.
And he also did come third in the Ballon d'Or, or second actually in the Ballon d'Or.
Did it?
Yeah, no, I think he came second in the Ballon d'Or that Ronaldo won for United.
Yeah, and if we were going off of just purely my favourite players, Henry and Torres is my dream strike partnership.
I know, Torres.
But I did have Henry and Drogba in this team for the stats Drogba's got in this time, and I think he's got is it 3 Premier Leagues in this time as well?
Yeah, but that's not as many as Rooney.
What, in this period?
Rooney.
Actually, in that period, it probably
is it the same?
No, it's not.
Rooney definitely won 3. I know that. I don't know where he won 4 though. I'll check now.
I mean, I did put it down as the two strikers. I put a pure number 9 and more like a 10 sort of striker. Because I feel like Rooney's not like an out-and-out striker, is he?
No.
Rooney's a Premier League champion 3 times in that era.
Yeah,
same amount. There you go.
I think it was the last 3 years of that era.
And they were all in a row, 3 in a row.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I mean, my other honourable mention is Dennis Bergkamp as well, that I had as my other backup sort of 10/9 striker.
Yeah, I've got Bergkamp. I also included Michael Owen as an honourable.
I want to mention Rude. He had a Van Nistelrooy, 150 games, 95 goals and 14 assists.
Yeah, Van Nistelrooy was ridiculous.
I've also, just for consistency and longevity, I've got a couple of mentions as well. You'll laugh at Jermaine Defoe, but he played 300 games in that time and played for a few different clubs there as well. Scored 100 plus goals. Decent.
No, he's never won a trophy.
Jermaine Defoe?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
That might be true.
I've heard that somewhere.
I'm glad you mentioned him though, because I hated it when Bale was at Spurs and everyone called them Bale FC. But Defoe was brilliant for them as well. Defoe's one of those strikers where if he was in his prime now, he'd be considered one of the best strikers.
Yeah, it's another ex-Pompey player that I love.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Him and Peter Crouch together were incredible.
Crouch could be mentioned.
Hey, Crouchy, underrated footballer.
Emil Heskey is underrated as well. Premier League 100 club.
It's just KSI ruined him.
KSI ruined his career, but Premier League 100 club, he was a top player too.
And again, like along the underrated line, and I mean he's not underrated when he was younger, but Nicolas Anelka was a great striker as well.
Oh yeah.
He was.
And I think he's played for City, Bolton, Chelsea, and Arsenal in this period.
Yeah. I loved the documentary about him on Netflix. You should watch that if you haven't. That was great.
But obviously the best part of Anelka is the fact that when he was sold, Arsenal paid for their training ground and bought Thierry Henry. So happy days.
Yeah, I know.
Not a bad thing, that is it?
London Colt, I know. He paid for that.
To be fair, you have got the back end of Alan Shearer's career in there. He still scores a load of goals.
Yeah,
but just a bit before, wasn't he?
He doesn't make it for me though.
And to be fair, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank has got about 80 or 90 goals in the first 4 years of this decade.
Yes.
I think it's got to be Rooney.
There was a lot of good strikes in that era.
Yeah,
I think it's
when it comes down to it comes down to Torres, Rooney, and Drogba. And as Jake said, Torres only played 70 odd games.
Yeah,
79.
And Drogba next to Rooney.
Rooney all day long.
I think Rooney has to go in. He played basically every minute he was fit and won the league 3 seasons in a row. Worked his bollocks off running all around the pitch. Any striker would love to play next to Rooney.
I like number 8, like Rooney as well. When he wore number 8 when he was young,
and he just
went at people.
His debut against Fenerbahce, his hat-trick.
Man, it's funny. One of the games we had to analyse. I had to analyse Arsenal and Liverpool, and it's actually the game before Wayne Rooney makes his debut on Sky.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty mad. But yeah, I love Wayne Rooney.
Rooney on Rooney.
Can you imagine that in a team? Jesus.
I know.
And again, Rooney doesn't have the best stats of some strikers, right? But I don't care.
No.
Yes, sir.
Well, he doesn't, but he does have a bunch of assists as well. He's one of the few that has over 100 for goals and assists in the Prem.
He has 208 goals in the Prem and 103 assists.
Wow.
Yeah. Giggs is another one as well. He's got over 100 for both.
He's unbelievable, Rooney.
Does Lampard break that or not? Has he got 100 plus assists?
Oh, Lampard must do, actually. I think Scholes...
Check.
Does Scholes break that?
I don't know if Scholes
No, Scholes has 43 assists, I think it was, and 100 goals. He hasn't got many assist goals.
I don't know assists aren't everything, but you know.
Yeah, but he's playing as a partnership.
Yeah, I'd love to have seen Rooney and Henry as a partnership. Jesus.
Yeah, Lampard broke it. Scholes didn't.
It's funny. I feel like we've had a fair consensus for this team.
Yeah, we have. I thought there'd be a lot more debate, but I think it is correct.
So, Will, have you written that down 1 to 11?
Yeah. So we got Petr Cech in goal. Gary Neville, Rio Ferdinand, John Terry, Ashley Cole.
Yeah.
Ronaldo, Lampard, Scholes, Giggs, and then Rooney, Henry.
Yeah. I'm happy with that.
And I suppose if you were going to play that with Rooney dropping off of Henry, then you'd maybe swap Lampard for someone else a little bit more defensive. But
yeah, Vieira or Keane or something.
But if we're just purely going on best players, I think that's absolutely solid. I'd love to know the total number of goals in that team.
And then
that's fun.
Then manager of the decade, obviously Fergie.
Oh yeah, Fergie.
What, Jose Mourinho?
Would you
Come on, man.
Would you put Mourinho ahead of Wenger in that era?
Yeah.
Really?
Three Premier League titles, right?
I think Wenger got that, didn't he?
Or did he win? Sorry, he won 2 his
two.
first spell, didn't he?
Well,
he won 2.
They both won 2. Wenger had 2 in that era too.
He had the Invincibles as well.
Exactly.
Fergie's obviously top.
Consistently top
Hey,
4
any of
every
those
single
3
season.
though, any of those 3 are fine.
Yeah, for me, Wenger ahead of Mourinho. Thinking about it.
We'll have that as the coaching staff, them 3.
Yeah, 2 assistants.
Exactly.
God, they all hated each other as well.
Yeah.
I know.
I think that's a pretty good team, those.
Can I be honest? I think that team is fairly unbeatable.
Yeah, it is.
You can make a case for other players, obviously, but
yeah,
I think that's...
I've seen Arsenal fans do their all-time Premier League 11, and they've put Pires left mid ahead of Giggs. Which is wrong, but it needs to be mentioned.
Right, so shall we move on to the 2010s?
Move on to the 2010s era.
See, now I think there's going to be more variation here.
Yeah,
because I also think we're all aware of more players from this era, given the fact that we're all under 25.
Yeah, definitely.
And I just want to say, I don't know how to choose the strikers in this one.
Easy, I've done it easy.
Well, there's
3
I
have 1,
that
2,
all
3,
need to be
4.
in the team, but
No,
one
I've got 5 that could be in the team.
Well, I've mentioned
I have
more than
5 as
3,
well.
but
I have
there's only
5.
3 that actually make it.
Because
I have
obviously, I said before, some players we just mentioned in the last team do carry into this decade and still played well.
They did, but they were still coming towards the end of their career, and they wouldn't have made it past 2015.
Right,
We'll have to see how this lines up. We may be able to have this team without any of the previous players.
I just want to start off by saying, Tom, who's your goalie? Because I'm pretty sure I know who yours is.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. David De Gea.
I haven't actually got De Gea down.
I know,
So just to go with Tom there, I've got David De Gea. Wouldn't he like Player of the Year 5 years in a row for you when you were terrible?
Yeah. He was world class, and he won the Premier League in this era as well.
I have someone just a bit different, just because I thought everyone put De Gea, I found it a bit boring. I've got down Schmeichel and Courtois.
Yeah, see now Kasper Schmeichel is second on my list.
I got Courtois because he won two Premier Leagues, and he also won the Golden Glove in one of them seasons.
Yeah, but he was also a massive dosser.
What Premier Leagues is there?
No, I know, but
that's a great argument.
When he was at Atletico Madrid, I thought he was the best keeper I've ever seen. And then he came to Chelsea, and he was so underwhelming.
And won 2 Premier League titles.
Yeah, and won 2 Premier League titles. Some of that.
Yeah,
and the Golden Glove.
No. Let me finish. He was so underwhelming because he ended up just being just a good, solid keeper. He was never for me the best ever in an individual season, and he just didn't reach the heights I thought he would. At Atletico Madrid, I thought he was the best in the world. He came to Chelsea and he was just all right, like Lloris was for Spurs.
Well, Lloris is shite.
So, and
he is now, but he did have a period where he was solid.
We're talking about the decade as well. Courtois was only supposedly great for the most 3 seasons.
I don't think Courtois. I
Definitely
think De
doesn't
Gea
get in.
because I think De Gea was the best in the world for them for like 5 seasons. He was.
Well, didn't De Gea play in basically every season of this decade as well? Like,
2011
he
he joined, right?
Or something.
Yeah.
He's played every decade.
And he was our player of the year like 4 times in a
Is
row, which is a joke as a keeper. They should never win that award.
And also,
He's had a few stinkers.
I know that he made the last team, but Petr Cech did play 7 years of this decade.
I
Yeah,
know.
but
I was
Arnold
thinking
was
Petr
shite,
Cech, but he was nothing special at Arsenal.
No, he was awful.
No,
He's just
I wouldn't
alright.
count the Arsenal years. He's still good at Chelsea, though.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I did mention Edison.
I
know-
thought about Alisson as well, just purely for modern keepers.
I know Alisson has not been in it long enough for me, but I know Boovy on the kickoff, the Man City fans said Edison gets in this team when they debated this a while ago, and he put Edison in it. But
I never did that.
again, he's not been in the decade long enough for me, and De Gea was just world class for so long.
I probably should have watched that to get some ideas.
I know De Gea's had a couple bad seasons toward the end, but he's still very good.
I think
he has to go in.
And again, right, I know Tom may laugh at me, but if we take the first half of the decade, Joe Hart in that form was fairly decent as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose.
When he first came through at Manchester City, like after he replaced Shea Given, he was really, really good.
Yeah, no, it's true.
We're already debating on the goalie.
As Will said, Kasper Schmeichel is also a good shout. But
Honestly,
I think
he's just solid. He just never
is.
got bought. If he'd gone to a bigger team like Mahrez or Kante had, I think you'd rate him higher.
Yeah, definitely. He is very good.
Yeah, I think he's a really good goalkeeper.
I think we just
De
need to
Gea.
say De Gea and move on to the right back.
Yeah, I think De Gea's in there.
Yeah, I'll put the hair down. Who we got now? Carl Walker right back.
Oh, he's not even in my 3.
Oh, really?
Not even in my 3.
That's pretty weird, Jake.
Well, there's Zabaleta, Ivanovic, and Walker
Carl.
in my 3.
Yeah, same here.
You've both got the same 3.
Yeah.
So none of you are mentioning Azpilicueta.
No,
Mate, he's absolutely solid. I thought he's a great footballer.
I know.
Yeah, but he's not.
My number 1 is Zabaleta.
Yeah, I know.
I
But
think Zabaleta won 2
no,
Premier
but
Leagues.
Azpilicueta, he's been solid basically every season. He's
played every position, he has.
But a lot of the time he's been right centre back. It's not like he's been the out and out right
Or
back
left
every
back.
season.
He's got 2 Premier Leagues, an FA Cup, a League Cup, and 2 Europa Leagues in his time at
I know.
Chelsea.
Carl Walker's not just as much.
Walker's
Premier
won
Leagues.
more than that at Man City and was part
And
of
at
that
Spurs.
solid defence at Spurs.
But
when,
was 50
it's when
mil.
they had, we went for 50 mil. He was brilliant at Spurs. In that defence with Alderweireld and Vertonghen, they didn't lose a single game at home in one season. He was solid, and he still is.
Do you
What
know
about
who's...
Ivanovic?
Ivanovic, though,
Three
you're
titles.
going to make the same argument as Azpilicueta, though, isn't it? It's the same sort of player.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Ivanovic was the out and out right back,
He was a bastard, he was, wasn't
and for me, he's
like
not the
49,
modern
he
fullback,
played
is he? I just think
Who'd-
Walker's been brilliant this entire decade almost.
Mine's Zabaleta or Walker, mine are.
If I had to
And
pick out of them 2, I'm having Zabaleta.
Zabaleta's
Really?
a bold fraud.
Oh, I think Walker, you know.
Hey, do you know who's 3rd on my list? Is Trent Alexander-Arnold, and you 2 hate him.
Fuck off.
Oh my word!
He's shite.
Oh no! Bloody hell! The
You
amount
wanna-
of players I put over him. in this
You want to talk about a
team.
modern fullback, Tom? He is the most modern fullback.
Yeah.
He said he can't defend, bless him.
Yeah, he's a modern fullback.
No.
I mean, he's world
Carl
class for 2
Walker.
seasons. This season he's been a bit dodgy.
I
If you
thought
say your
you
name,
two
then-
might. I thought you two might have had Raphael somewhere around here.
He didn't even come to my mind.
Oh, no, he didn't come to my mind either. But
I didn't
no,
like him.
he doesn't. I don't even know if he's an honourable mention. Antonio
should.
Valencia is an honourable mention.
Hey,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
do you want an honourable mention, right? And Will said about value for money. Seamus Coleman cost 50 grand.
I like him. He's
Famous.
he's
Oh,
probably
Coleman,
good now.
that's a very good shout.
Yeah, he was cheap
Oh,
as
wow.
chips, and he has literally played probably more games than any other player in the Premier League, I reckon, in that time. I think he's ever been injured, has he?
I'm looking at Walker next to Zabaleta, and Walker played 43 more games than Zabaleta in this decade.
Did he really? Oh, of course, Zabaleta went at West Ham, didn't he, and then retired, to be fair.
Yeah. Seamus Coleman.
He was solid
in this time.
I mean,
obviously he hasn't won much, has he, Coleman? But you know,
Coleman's basically played the exact same amount of goals as games as Walker in this decade. But
I think Walker's a shoo-in.
Yeah, for me it's Walker. He's fast, powerful, can defend, can attack. Was great in the Tottenham defence, won loads at City, and was basically world class for a lot of this decade. And Zabaleta was coming towards the end of his career, about the halfway point.
I feel like I'm being overruled here on Kyle Walker, but
yeah.
I don't mind him. He's fast, so
we're not being biased though because it's a City player.
No, you're not, because he's a City player.
Yeah.
I've already written Walker down, I think.
Sorry, Jake.
Unlucky Jake.
Yeah, no worries.
I think
no worries.
Centre halves. One of these centre halves picks himself. Company.
Oh, for me it's very simple. The centre back partnership.
Company and Van Dijk, I think.
Yeah.
Don't know what you think, Jake.
The honourable mentions. Go on, Jake.
Company. I think he's the captain of this team, isn't he, as well?
Yeah.
With his massive head, I think. I've got Company in mind. I think you could argue maybe of carrying over one of Rio or Terry, but obviously they only had 3 or 4 years in this decade.
Yeah.
I think Terry more than Rio in this decade.
Yeah, but they still played nearly half this decade.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, but do you remember Rio at QPR? How bad he was? Ugh.
Oh no, I don't.
He was shocking that final season.
It was poor.
I also think one that you won't think of, but again, go back to that Tottenham defence. Jan Vertonghen has played a bulk of this era and was absolutely solid as well.
I'll tell you the honourable mentions I've got written down. I've got Vertonghen, Alderweireld.
Yeah,
that partnership was brick solid. I've also got David Louise.
Oh, piss off!
Yeah, I agree with Will on that one.
I think he needs.
I'd have Wes Morgan over David Louise.
No, he's played a big part in this era of the Premier League, and he won the title with Chelsea. He was a very interesting centre-back, a modern centre-back, and he did a job.
He did also leave for a bulk of this period as well.
He did.
He played defensive mid for some of it, didn't he?
Yeah. No, he doesn't make the team. Johnny Evans is a shout.
Wes Morgan.
Oh, Johnny Evans, really?
Johnny Evans. He won a title with us at the start of this decade, and he's been world class at he's been very good at Leicester. He's been very good at Leicester.
He's all right.
Wes Morgan, Robert Huth.
He played for West Brom for a lot of this decade as well.
Yeah, he did actually.
Did you say Robert Huth and Wes Morgan to get them mentioned?
What a partnership that was. You can't argue it. Won the bloody title.
I probably would have put Vertonghen in this team if Spurs won the league. But
I'd also put him in for a left-footed centre-half as well.
I know.
But no one's taking over Van Dijk, are they?
And Van Dijk's just been brilliant. Even at Southampton is very good, so I think he has to partner Company.
But do you know what the sad thing is as well for this team is that I look at Van Dijk and Company and I still think Terry and Rio are better.
Really?
Yeah, no, they are.
Yeah. It's close, but Terry and Rio are...
Terry ahead of Company and Rio ahead of Van Dijk.
Company wasn't necessarily the best defender like Rio and Terry. He was more like a leader, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But then better defender.
And he scored one of the most clutch goals of all time.
Oh, against
Leicester,
what shit right.
Absolutely incredible.
And didn't he score? I think there's a header against United, didn't there, in the derby as well?
Oh, he's done that.
He scored many against us.
Yeah,
he's scored loads against us. In the game in the Centurion season when Man City played us, and if they won the game, then they would have won the title against us. So it was a huge game for City to win. And Company scored the first goal with an unbelievable header where he literally just bullied Smalling out the way. And then they went 2-0 up, and all the City fans were loving it, and we ended up winning 3-2.
Pogba double and Smalling.
I was pissing myself. Have you seen the All or Nothing documentary?
What the City? No, I've only watched the Spurs one.
You need to watch the City one. In the second to last episode, it shows all of the City fans talking about this game, and it shows some of them at half time crying, saying, "If we win today, I don't know what I'll do. Again, I'd love to win the title against United." And they're 2-0 up at half time, and then we score 3 in 15 minutes. It was brilliant.
Right. So Van Dijk and company.
Yeah, Van Dijk and company.
Right, left back. This will be interesting.
Yeah, left back was hard. Left back is hard.
I've got a very...
Jake, you start.
Yeah, so me and Will were talking before this about left backs, and I mentioned a left back that was linked to United about 5 seasons in a row and never went. And I've got, and I don't know.
I know who you mean.
Yeah, and I don't know if he makes this team or if I'd even put him in this team. But Leighton Baines is the name.
Yeah.
And now, and also the thing about Leighton Baines is he brings obviously a great delivery and an immense free kick ability to a team.
Yeah,
like such a good left foot, a little bit like Digne's got for Everton now.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Again, he didn't win anything, but he's just a solid footballer.
Jake, 5 mil survived for money.
There you go. There's the price.
Over 400 games. 113 clean sheets.
I mean, is there better value for money than Everton's fullbacks in that period of Coleman and Baines?
I know it was
David Moyes era.
Don't give it away. Stephen Pienaar's on my left midfield.
You can make a case for Azpilicueta playing left back, maybe, but
he did a little bit. Yeah, and also like Patrice Evra's played 3 or 4 years of this decade as well.
At West Ham as well, he was.
Oh yeah, of course he was.
Didn't play much though, did he?
Another one. I think Gael Clichy's won 2 or 3 titles in this time as well at Man City. Obviously, he was at Arsenal before, but he played left back for City.
Down, but I do want to say, Luke Shaw has made more appearances in this decade than Clichy, and I think he's an underrated shout.
Hasn't Luke Shaw been injured for about 4 years of this decade as well?
Yeah, but he's made 177 appearances in this decade and was great at Southampton. And a bit underwhelming at United, but still solid.
He's coming back again now. I just don't think he gets in this team.
I think Leighton Baines.
I also thought about Danny Rose.
He's a little bastard, he is.
He's all right.
He was good at Spurs' peak.
I think that's about it, though. I just think he's been good. I think he was solid, but
there aren't many.
When you go through the teams, like Liverpool had a mix of like Paul Konchesky at one point, and
could you argue Robertson now?
Oh yeah, no, my number 1 was Robertson. Just to say.
Oh yeah, if we're putting Andy Robertson up against Leighton Baines, then Andy Robertson wins hands down, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Add context to it though.
Yeah, the played 258 games in this era.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If we're talking about a whole 2010 period.
5 mil as well.
So.
Baines or Robertson? I personally vote Baines.
I mean, Robertson's played he's played 151, so he still played a lot in this era, and obviously he
played for Hull as well, didn't he, for a season in this era?
Yeah.
Maybe it is Robertson then.
Robertson's played 100 less games, but he is miles better.
But obviously he played in a better team, though.
Yeah. I know.
Just for the sake of variety and the fact that most of our players are from either United, City, Chelsea, or Arsenal, I think Bainesy's a nice shout for some variety.
Yeah, I want Baines in there.
However, when you then match him up against Ashley Cole from the other era.
Oh, he's going to be against Ronaldo. Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, crap, he is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Robertson might have to go in.
Oh, no.
The thing is, like, Baines played a lot in this era, but he stayed at Everton for a reason. And it's almost like Gareth Barry, in a way. It's like, do you see what I mean? It's like just a good player, solid in his position, but never reached like a world-class level. He never once had an unbelievable season. He was just there because he was good. My
feelings about Gareth Barry are the same as my feelings about Eric Dyer, so I'm not going to discuss it.
Well, Gareth Barry is the ultimate water carrier, as Cleed would say. I think Robertson's played over 150 games and is unbelievable. The ultimate modern fullback. And I know you want variety, but if we're talking about the absolute best team, it might have to be Robertson. But I don't mind if you want to say Baines.
I think Robertson.
Now that I'm thinking more and more about matching it up against Ronaldo.
It makes sense to put him there.
Maybe just for the number of assists as well and chances created, maybe Andy Robertson gets in there.
I think it has to be Robertson.
And I feel like there's a little bit of a modern bias on it, but
yeah.
Alright, that's the back
Are we
four.
all right with Robertson?
yeah, I'm happy
I'll
with
put him
Robertson.
down. That's the back four.
Right.
So
well,
midfield. Are we starting on the right wing?
Yeah, go to the right wing again.
I've got Mo Salah.
I've got 5 picks for this.
I've got
I've got
3.
I've got a lot of picks, but I'll say Mo Salah and Mahrez. I've got 2. They're my 2.
I'll tell you my honourable mentions that won't get in the team, but I think it's worth mentioning. Sterling,
God.
Mahrez, and Willian.
I've got Willian as one of my mentions. Willian was great for a while.
Yeah.
Look at him now, though.
I know.
Mahrez was... I'd argue Mahrez was better than Vardy in Leicester's title-winning season.
It's the Man City game where Mahrez does he run through 3 or 4 players and smashes it in.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Oh, it's
Mahrez's
unplayable.
stats in that season was ridiculous. He had more goal involvement than Vardy in that
Well,
season.
he was PFA Player of the Year, wasn't he, in the title-winning
yeah.
season?
Mahrez has to be mentioned.
But is he better than Salah in that?
Well, I know.
No.
I also wrote down the Tottenham version of Gareth Bale, right? But did he actually play right mid for Spurs?
So did I.
Did eventually, yeah.
He played. I know
Yeah,
he played left back, left mid, and in the middle of like the sort of 10 spot as well. But did he play on the right for Spurs?
I think he probably did a few games, yeah.
He played left mid a lot and sometimes number 10.
Yeah, I don't know if he did play. I played obviously right mid for Real Madrid, but I don't know if he did for Tottenham.
Mahrez got 220 games.
Even if he didn't know, he will have played right mid a bit for Tottenham. He did actually no. I don't think he makes the team.
If I'm having him in his prime, then he makes the team, but it's obviously not his prime.
Yeah, but Mahrez has played double the amount of games in this decade than Bale, and was the out-and-out right mid, was pinnacle in Leicester winning the title, which is like the greatest sporting achievement ever. And then he made it to Man City. Mahrez has played 218 games in this time.
But
Yeah,
and I know Salah's not played as many
106.
games, but output is a joke.
I was looking at Salah's stats, and he's got to go in, lads.
It's 100 plus goals, isn't it? In like 4 years.
145 games, 92 goals, 32 assists. That's ridiculous. Whereas Mahrez has got 218 games, 106 goal contributions.
I would side with Salah.
Salah definitely.
Yeah, Salah goes in.
I was trying to think of who United had in this period at right midfield, really. But you've had
You've had one for
Valencia
about
there,
4
really.
You've had
haven't
one
you?
for 12 years, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it rotated between Mata, Valencia,
Oh, Matt.
you know.
Oh my god, I didn't even think of Juan Mata at Chelsea in any of this.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
great.
Chelsea was a joke, wasn't it? I think Salah, but
Yeah, it's got
Mahrez is very close second.
it's got to be Salah though.
Midfield, this should get very interesting. I think one of them's a shoe-in.
Yeah,
Right.
one player gets in above everyone else.
N'Golo Kante.
Oh no, I didn't say that. I was going to say someone else.
Ooh.
I don't even know how we do this, to be honest.
Tom, who are you
Real
going to say?
struggle. Oh, there's so many.
I don't know, Jake.
Come on. There's one player that has been above all probably the best centre midfielder in the league for that decade.
Thing is, though, if you're there's 3 players that you can talk
Ooh.
about.
Oh, this is actually so hard.
So I think who you're referring to is one of Yaya Toure, David Silva, and De Bruyne.
So they are my top 3.
Yeah.
Not even Kante. Oh, Jake.
What?
Kante.
What over those 3?
Mate, he's got to go in. He was generational.
I know, Kante. I mean, before we get on to this, because this is hard. Fernandinho is a very honourable mention.
He's my other mention. Yeah, I've got him in there.
James Milner is an honourable mention.
I've got him as well.
Yeah.
Michael Carrick for early.
Well, I suppose, but considering how many other midfielders I'm listing, I don't think we can talk about Carrick. I've got loads here, by the way. I've got Milner. I'm just going to rattle through it. Milner, Henderson, Pogba, but he doesn't get in it. Kante, Ozil. We need to remember Ozil.
Piss off.
Fabinho, Moose to Dembele for Tottenham.
Yeah.
And Juan Mata, of course.
See, I've got Christian Eriksen on my list as well. Before his contract, dwindled down at Spurs, he was class.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. But after all of those, none of them compare to Yaya Toure, De Bruyne, David Silva and Kante.
No, those are the four.
Surely Kante's got to go in, lads. Surely.
What? If you had to pick between Kante and Yaya Toure in his prime, who are you having? You're having Yaya Toure, mate. He was an animal.
That's not really the point, though.
Well, it is, because David Silva gets in this team guaranteed.
Yeah, David Silva's guaranteed.
Yeah, but then De Bruyne misses out.
No, because he gets in as well. We just have two playmakers.
We're playing the 4-3-3 with this.
No, we need two strikers.
We do need two strikers.
When I thought about this a while ago, the way I went around this, I had Kante and David Silva as the two centre mids.
Surely
I know you can debate Yaya Toure, but I put De Bruyne right mid as like a free roaming, because he moves to the right mid anyway. And Salah can piss off because he's only played like 100 games.
Well, you know what you could also do, though, is you can play three at the back.
Oh, God.
And you drop Baines, and you drop Kyle Walker, and then you stick in, I don't know, the Tongan, or whatever. Right? You have three centre-half, and then you can have Yaya Toure, De Bruyne and Silva.
That might be the idea,
Yeah, but it's just a bit dodgy, isn't it, choosing a three at the back system?
Yeah, no, we've got to pick two centre mids. We're going 4-4-2.
Yeah.
Boys, how can you not have Kante in this team?
I think De Bruyne is a shout to go ahead of Salah. I don't see how De Bruyne doesn't make the team.
No.
Neither do I, really.
But then David Silva has to.
Right, you got to do it like like Tinder, right? You got to swipe right on one and swipe left on the other, right? Who are you going with out of Kante and De Bruyne?
Kante.
Oh, good for heaven's sake!
Well, who are you going with out of Kante and Yaya Toure?
I think Kante.
I actually don't know what to do.
Mate, he was so good.
Who are you going with out of Kante and David Silva?
Not David Silva.
Oh, see, now he's beaten Kante. So who'd you go with out of... So you're having Kante and David Silva?
For me, it's Kante, David Silva.
Wow.
Toure played 66 more games than Kante in this decade.
Have that, Will. It doesn't really matter, though, because we put Salah in, he's only played like 100 games.
No, I'm just saying. Kante's not been as involved in this decade as some people think. Kante's only been involved in this since the second half, like 2015.
But again, though, you say since then he was a pivot. He was basically the reason why Leicester won a title.
Yeah, and then he moved to Chelsea and won it with Chelsea.
Yeah,
he's.
Those seasons.
But the Sarri season, he didn't do anything.
I know,
really,
he's been.
And he was misused.
He's fallen off the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, I mean, he's had his first season at Leicester. He played 37 games, and 35 games, and 34, and 36.
I mean, really, he's only had 3 or 4 world-class seasons.
You say only. Some players don't have 2.
Yeah, I know, but when you compare it to Toure, De Bruyne, David Silva,
I don't think De Bruyne's in the conversation. I don't.
Yeah, but no, he is. De Bruyne is better than all of them, in my opinion.
I think David Silva's a shoo-in.
De Bruyne's better than David Silva for me as well.
Yeah, but David Silva's longevity.
David Silva's has played a lot longer, that's why he gets... I mean, David Silva's having a statue made for him outside City. They're getting that sorted at the moment.
Oh, I think the best 2 players are De Bruyne and David Silva.
They're definitely the best 2.
Exactly, there you go. There's our midfield pairing. Happy days. Left mid?
Yeah. No, I think Jake's right. Kante and Toure miss
Hey,
out.
Kante is a close 3rd or 4th.
Just so everyone knows, I'm not very comfortable with how leaving Kante.
Hey, do you know what? We can have a 12th man for these teams. Kante's our 12th man.
Yeah.
I definitely will be with the strikers.
Yaya Toure misses out.
I don't think we will with the strikers we've got, lads.
Will, are you playing Kante up front now? Shoo him in.
He'll be my 6th choice. Left mid, I think there's only one.
Very, very easy. This is for me.
Oh, I mean, there's
Hazard.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to talk. The honourable mentions I've got written down are Mane, Alexis Sanchez.
Yeah, Arsenal. Yep.
Yeah.
Heung-min Son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Rashford.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I suppose.
But I think Russ has only come to life in this season and last season.
Yeah.
Before that, he was in and out. He was in and out.
But yeah.
I think Mane or Hazard.
Mane
as well. But
Yeah, Mane is good.
Mane was good at
I'm not talking about Mane ahead of Hazard.
He was good at Southampton though as well. 7 years Hazard was there for, I think.
Definitely Hazard.
If we're taking a left midfielder off of one game, I'm having Andre Arshavin.
My dad used to call him arse shavings.
I might sound like an idiot there. Wasn't that 4-4 game in 2009? I don't think it's in this decade.
I can't help with that one.
Now that I've said it, I think it wasn't even in this decade. That's not good.
Strikers.
And the strikers for me are very easy as well.
Easy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to really get stats out to make sure who I picked here.
I don't really mind a pick here. I've got 5.
I'll start with the honourable mentions. For you. Obviously, Romelu Lukaku.
Mhm.
Aubameyang. Yeah.
Right, now that we've gone through all those technical difficulties, I think there's an absolute shoe-in for the striker spot of the 2010s team. Whether you agree or not is another matter.
Right.
I'm going, obviously, for Sergio Aguero.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm glad we agree on that.
Definitely.
And then there's 4 other options now for the next one.
For me, there's only 3 other options, and for me, I know which one I'm choosing. I just want to see who you two agree on first.
So I've got 5 other options here.
Oh, bloody hell.
Go on, Will. What you got?
I've got Harry Kane.
Yep.
Suarez.
Yep.
Van Persie.
Yep.
And Jamie Vardy.
Yep. I've got those.
Van Persie doesn't get near it.
Really? You've seen his record?
I have.
So many goals.
In this decade?
Lovely.
So we disagreed on Aguero, didn't we?
Yeah, we agreed on Aguero. We've now got to find a partner for him. I believe Tom really didn't like the Van Persie shout.
Oh no, he's
changed
his view now.
Oh.
He doesn't make the team, but
No.
For me, Lukaku is a big shout for this. Over 250 appearances. Lukaku's had more appearances in this decade than Vardy and Kane has. But he's played, I think, 100 more games than Van Persie, but only scored 14 or 17 more goals. So it's pretty embarrassing. But other honourable mentions are like Diego Costa, Firmino, Aubameyang.
Michu for one season.
Oh, what a season that was.
Michu, we are not talking about Michu.
What a player.
You can talk about Papa Cisse and Demba Bart at Newcastle.
Oh, what a partnership. We might have to have them two.
But yeah, I'm happy to listen to
Balotelli.
what you two actually seriously say. Balotelli, oh my.
Jake, do you want to start, Jake?
Yeah, Jake, who are you wanting to put next to Aguero?
Again, if I'm going off of just who they are as a player, right, can you imagine Aguero and Suarez together? However, I think he scored 20 goals this season apart from one season. Harry Kane's record is a joke.
Yeah.
And I'd have him and Aguero.
So you have Kane and Aguero?
I mean, in an ideal world, I wouldn't, but I think numbers-wise...
Don't comment yet, Tom. Don't comment yet. I'll say mine.
Go on then.
All right.
For me, I think Suarez is my main shout.
Yeah.
But I think Vardy has a better case than Kane to go in the team.
I mean, he's won more titles than him.
He's also played 211 games, got 103 goals. I know Kane's got more goals, but won a title. Cheap as well, what he did for Leicester.
Suarez doesn't get in for me because even though one of his individual seasons is probably the best season a striker has had.
31 goals in 33 games.
Yeah, he didn't win anything in his time at Liverpool, really, and he wasn't there long enough at all.
He was there for 3.5 seasons.
Exactly. I don't think he should be included in the conversation along with Vardy and Kane.
It's between them two, I think.
And then for me, Vardy gets in ahead of Kane, and I'm going to tell you why. I've got the stats. So, in this decade, Kane has played 210 games. Vardy has played 211.
Wow.
Yeah, which is interesting. Kane has scored 143 goals, which is 40 more goals than Vardy. But Vardy's got 9 more assists with 29. And then when you get onto it, Kane has had 300 more shots with basically the exact same shooting accuracy percentage, but a 4% worse success percentage. Vardy's been 23%, Kane's been 18%.
Right.
And then Kane's scored 2 more penalties. He's missed 7 more big chances. He's created 16 less big chances for his team than Vardy has.
That's surprisingly not.
Vardy does a lot more for his team, creates more chances, has more assists. I know he's got 40 less goals. He's been in a much worse team throughout this decade.
And he's won a title.
And then on top of that, he's won a title with a worse team than Kane's Spurs ever.
I also think it would be criminal for Leicester not to have a player in this team.
I know. If Kante and Mahrez miss out, Vardy has had a better decade than Kane. He's won a title
for his prize as well.
Team.
He was non-league as well.
And he's done more for his team. He's better in front of goal. The only reason why he's got less goals is because Kane's been at a better team. And I just think, I think it's.
I don't know if there's much truth in that. I think Kane's a better finisher.
Well, if you look at the stats, Vardy's success rate is better.
Less shots as well.
I mean, Kane's had a lot more long shots, which is why that is skewed. But,
and free kicks as well.
Yeah, I know. I mean, inside the box, you might say Kane is more clinical, but he's had over 300 more shots than Vardy in the same game he's played, and I think Vardy and Spurs' team might have similar numbers to Kane.
It's a hard one, actually. This is.
But anyway, even if you want to debate on whether the stats are in whose favour or not, the fact is Vardy's won a league title in this year, with the worst team Kane's ever played with.
You've got to have a Leicester player in there just for for that season.
Spurs team was better than the Leicester team that won the league in the same season, but they just bottled it too many times. Too many games. Spurs should have won the league that season, and they bottled it. I think Vardy has to be in ahead of Kane.
So Vardy and Aguero.
For me,
Vardy runs the channels. Aguero stays in the box.
Kane is going to go down as a better striker, and he probably is a better striker right now. But for me, in the team of the decade, what Vardy did with Leicester and
and he broke Van Nistelrooy's goals in a row record.
Oh, exactly.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
Against us.
He did.
Do you want to hear the team then, lads?
Yeah.
Are we agreeing on Vardy ahead of Kane and Suarez?
Do you know what? I'm happy to have Vardy.
Lovely.
He's a world-class player.
Again, if Suarez had played maybe a season and a half more,
and
won something,
then Suarez definitely.
And wasn't racist as well. I think that helped him.
And didn't bite someone. Yeah.
All these little things might help him.
And that handball against Ghana, I still hold that against him.
Oh, I know. Actually, no, I think that's classy. I absolutely love that. I have so much respect for him for doing that. I'd definitely do that if I was him.
What, getting the win?
Yeah.
Right, so the team is David De Gea, Kyle Walker, Company, Van Dijk, Robertson, Salah, De Bruyne, Silva, Hazard, Aguero, Vardy. Happy?
It's definitely taken a different shape to what I thought it would.
The two midfielders are questionable. I think you need Kante in there, but
I mean,
Kante needs to go in.
Would you drop?
I do.
Would you drop Vardy for Kante?
What, and go to a 4-3-3? Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd do that.
But is that purely just on how the team would play, rather than who's been a better player?
Yeah.
Oh, you could argue Kante's been a better player as well, though.
Has he though? He's had two quiet seasons. Vardy's had 5 great seasons in a row.
Yeah.
I know, but Kante's
23 goals last
season. Player.
Generational talent.
I mean, I would probably say Kante is the better player than Vardy overall.
Yeah.
I think we need to do that, actually, because imagine looking at a team where Kante is behind De Bruyne and David Silva.
Oh.
Yeah.
Stick him in Man City's team.
I'm doing it, sorry lads.
we've been overruled.
Yeah, sorry.
I
love Kante. I love Kante.
Squiggling it out.
Yep. I love Kante. What a team that is. Salah and Hazard on the wings.
I think it also makes for less of a debate, because first of all, Salah is more of a right wing than a right mid. Second of all,
Hazard.
If you look at that team and you see, where's Kane, where's Suarez, but then you only see one striker slot and Aguero's there, then you can't really argue against them missing out. So I think having the 4-3-3 with Kante in it makes for less of a debate when people see the team.
And then the manager of the era.
There's a few.
It's Pep.
I also think there's 3 choices, maybe 4.
Yeah, where's this come from?
You can have Pep or Klopp, right, based on whatever you think of the two.
Who else are you going to go for after that?
Well, you can have Claudio Ranieri.
Wow, I suppose.
He went to Fulham though. Remember him at Fulham?
Oh, sod that! He won the Premier League with Leicester. Is there any better achievement?
You said 4, Chase. Who's your one? Conte?
Yeah, at Chelsea.
Oh,
I love Conte.
Conte's Chelsea were awesome. I love Conte.
And then what happened with them the season after?
Yeah, but we forget that. Ranieri got sacked as well. We forget that.
Yeah.
How about we do Fergie?
In fact, Ranieri is the manager of the decade. I don't care what Guardiola's done. I don't care what Klopp's done. You're never going to have that. You're never going to have that happen ever again. So in the decade it happens, the manager that made it happen has to be...
Yeah, see, because he's older as well, he can have Klopp and Pep as assistants.
Yeah. How about the 2000s? We got Fergie, Wenger, Jose. 2010s we got Pep, Ranieri, Klopp.
Yeah.
Classic. Right, so who's going to win in their game, lads? If they played against each other.
Well, I mean, to be fair, we've made a choice in that we've balanced out the 2010s team by putting Kante in there. Do we have to then go back and balance the 2000s team?
But I feel like it already is.
You get rid of Giggs and you put in Keane or Vieira. Henry.
What, and stick Henry on the left?
Yeah.
So you're having what? Say,
how does that work?
Vieira, Lampard, and Scholes behind Drogba.
Not Drogba, Rooney.
Oh, sorry, behind Rooney. I was trying to force Drogba back in there.
Rooney, Henry, and Ronaldo as the front 3 in front of Lampard, Scholes, and I'm having Keane ahead of Vieira.
I don't mind that. So, how about we have a 12th man for each team? So 12th man, the 12th.
Giggs is one then.
Yeah.
So Giggs will be the 12th one.
Keane was more of a CDM than Vieira as well. Vieira was more box to box really. Keane in his later stage of career was that holding player.
Who's the 12th man for 2010s?
Jamie Vardy in it. We took him out.
Well, or is it Vardy or is it Yaya Toure?
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
If I had to have one, I'd pick Yaya Toure.
Yeah, I think I would.
Yeah, I think I would.
I'd never seen a player that is such a tank through midfield. Like just so hard to stop on the ball.
Two bloody good teams there.
Well, I think we've agreed then. It's 4-3-3 holding for both.
Yeah.
Just changed that last minute, we have.
Yeah, we had 2-4-4-2s and we've dropped the striker.
I agree with it too. I think that's correct. So shall we compare the two?
Yeah, we'll go through it. If we go through position by position, we can see who wins right. Really.
I'll talk you through it. So in goal, Cech or De Gea?
Cech for me.
Cech
for longevity. So, is this going to make our all-time 11?
Yeah. What of these 2 decades? This is now
Of the 2
combined.
decades? Well, I'll write it down.
Oh my god, it's the mega team.
It's a bloody
Gary
long
Neville or
podcast.
Kyle Walker.
Obviously Neville.
Yeah.
It depends what you want.
Well, you can say it depends what you want, but Neville won so many titles. He was the captain. He was so consistent for the whole decade. Walker's been a bit
He could put a cross in
here
it
and there
well, Neville.
sometimes.
Yeah, he used to overlap David Beckham.
you have-
We can have him.
You have to put Neville.
Centre halves.
Terry, Ferdinand, Company, Van Dijk.
I mean, you know where I stand
For me,
on
it's
this. I said it
Ferdinand.
earlier.
Yeah.
Rio Terry.
Terry and Ferdinand.
We've got the full 2000s team so far. And it's going to be the same at left back.
And it's going to be Cole as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, I'm not even debating that. Defensive
And
midfielder,
Ronaldo
Kante
ahead
or
of Salah.
Keane?
Kante or Keane?
Yeah, Kante.
Oh. Yeah. Oh.
Ooh. For the
no.
decade as well. For the decade. For the decade.
Just to say, these
For
are
each
both
respective
last-minute
decade.
additions. They both didn't get in originally.
Yeah, I know.
And they're probably our 2 hardest choices. Kante or Keane?
Oh, this is a bit of a nightmare.
I mean, if anybody is older than about 30, they're Evan Roy Keane, aren't they?
Yeah.
If
mean,
people
so I
want to call
remember
him a
watching,
proper footballer.
I remember watching Match of the Day. You know when there was no football through lockdown, and Match of the Day every week did like top 10 stuff.
Yes, yeah.
They did top 10 captains and top 10 foreign imports, and I think Keane won both.
I think Keane
He definitely won the foreign
captaincy.
import one. Best Premier League foreign import. So they put Keane ahead of Kante in that. They're the 3 pundits did for that. For my opinion.
Here's a question you got to answer. Was Keane better in his decade than Kante was in his decade?
Well, in terms of, if we're taking the 90s out of Roy Keane's career,
Yeah. In their respective 2000, 2010
It's
decades.
probably
Well,
Kante, isn't it?
Probably is
Kante's
Kante.
played 23 more games than Keane in the decades.
Where did Keane ever get in the World 11
I'm not sure.
in that decade? Because Kante made it, didn't he?
And did
I've
Keane
got
ever
no
win PFA
idea.
Player of the Year? I think Kante did. The Chelsea season. His first one.
Yeah,
Something like
did
that.
Roy Keane win it in that?
I'll just read out these stats. Keane 141 games, Kante 164 games. Keane 9 goals, Kante 10 goals. Keane 18 assists, Kante 10 assists.
Ooh.
Yeah, but you're not looking for that's just, those stats don't apply to that position.
Yeah,
do
I
they?
know. I'm
They're
just
not
saying 'cause
relevant,
these are the stats that pop up when you go on the Premier League player comparison. But I'm just saying,
Press
the
stats, Tom.
appearances they're basically the same thing.
I don't think they have Roy Keane's tackling stats either, do they?
Oh, it seems a bit
No,
tricky
they
one.
won't. The Premier League doesn't really have the stats for Keane overall. It's just the appearances, goals, and assists. But
Keane won 3 titles as well, don't they?
See, Keane won, he won PFA Player of the Year at 99-2000, so it just misses out.
Kante won it in 16-17, I think.
Yeah.
Keane was a captain, which is a big
And he
factor.
won 3 titles.
Won 3 titles compared to Kante's 2.
2.
But one of Kante's was at Leicester.
Yeah.
I think we could... Should we come back to it?
I mean, I feel like 99% of people would say Roy Keane, right?
I think Roy Keane.
But-
I think that's my head's swinging more Roy Keane.
Thing is, though, you'd put if it was an all-time Premier League 11, then Roy Keane goes in. But when you
Yeah.
compare the 2 decades, I don't think as many people would say Keane ahead of Kante.
Should we come back to it?
I think if
Yeah.
you're having Sir Alex Ferguson in charge, you have to pick Kante.
Oh,
I think I don't know.
I personally I'd have Roy Keane.
I have Roy Keane as well. And that's 2v1, lucky Tom.
And you were the one who advocated for Kante originally.
Yeah, but it's Roy Keane, isn't it?
Tom,
Yeah.
your silence doesn't sound happy.
no, I just can't pick. I'm happy if you want to say Keane.
Should we
Right.
should we just
The
should we
two
just
centre
like
mids.
should we give Kante's legs to Roy Keane?
Kante's lungs to Roy Keane.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't think he needs them, though. Midfield, Lampard, Scholes, Silva, De Bruyne.
Oh wow.
Fuck.
Oh man.
This might be something I have to do on another podcast, you know.
Right. I think I've got it.
Alright, go on.
Lampard and De Bruyne.
Yep.
Yeah.
But if you're going for similarity, they're probably too similar, aren't they?
Scholes would control that game, wouldn't he?
Scholes and De Bruyne. I don't know.
Oh, if you want goals and assists, you're going with Lampard and De Bruyne, aren't you?
I think.
That is
De Bruyne and
four,
I think De
four
Bruyne and
incredible
Lampard.
footballers.
I think De Bruyne and Lampard. Oh, it pains me to say that.
So no Scholes
That pains me to say those goals.
and no David Silva.
David Silva.
Surely
piss off.
Scholes is ahead of Lampard. Because as I said, he was world class every season of the 2010s, whereas Lampard came in more like 2004.
Yeah, you got to look at their respective decades as well, haven't you?
Yeah, but I just can't get away from 100+ goals from a centre midfielder.
Yeah, but Scholes also got that in a longer time, but he still also got it.
True.
What,
And
over
Scholes
that
could-
decade?
You got near that, yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah. He's got 103 goals for United. And he retired in 2013 for them. He came back after a year, didn't he? No, he retired in 2012. Wait, when did he retire? Scholes and De Bruyne.
Scholes and De Bruyne.
I think De Bruyne is ahead of David Silva.
Yeah. I don't want to leave out Lampard though. Why?
Yeah, it's hard.
Why is it not Scholes and Lampard over De Bruyne?
Well, I just think De Bruyne is just.
It's so hard. I've got no idea who I want.
My vote is Scholes, Lampard. Fuck De Bruyne off. That's what you two are saying there.
I'm really struggling. I thought Lampard was my one certain player.
I think Lampard's goals.
So that's 7 out of 7 for the 2000s then.
I don't mind De Bruyne going in over Scholes, but
Nah, Paul Scholes is a better footballer, isn't he?
Scholes is so
Not statistically, probably not, but
Lampard over De Bruyne definitely.
yeah, Lampard Scholes, why not?
Yeah, fuck it. Put it down. Fuck
It's
off De
going to be
Bruyne.
an entire 2000s team.
No, it's not. Oh, yeah, it is actually.
It,
Because your right winger,
Who's
You're
my
right,
right wing
wingers, Ronaldo.
choices?
Ronaldo or Mo Salah.
Oh, well, there's only one winner there, isn't there?
Yeah.
yeah.
Left
Well done,
winger,
Mo.
left wing Hazard or
Henri.
and then up front Aguero or Rooney.
Ooh, that's more of a debate. That's closer than the other ones.
Call me biased, but I'm going Rooney.
Mate, I think Sergio
How
Aguero,
can a United fan say Aguero ahead of Rooney?
I think Aguero is probably.
that is hard.
That's probably the hardest one yet.
Yeah, that is.
You
Oh,
can
they're both
argue
great.
Aguero's been surrounded by ridiculous players every season.
Yeah, but Wayne Rooney was until about
Hasn't Rooney?
2013.
No, it's not the same. It really isn't.
Why?
Rooney.
He was a great teammate.
No, genuinely, Matt. Rooney played in great teams, correct? But I don't even know where I'm going with this.
One season, he had Carlos Tevez, Dimitar Berbatov, and Ronaldo in a front four with him.
I know, but Man City's team has always created so many chances for the striker. All right, no matter.
I don't think
how
them
good
four
United
ever
teams
appeared.
were.
I don't think Berbatov played.
Nah,
with
or
Ronaldo.
with Berbatov and Tevez in the same team.
I don't think so. I think Berbatov joined after the Champions League in 08.
Oh, did he?
Or maybe a year after that even.
Oh, Rooney or Aguero.
I think Gerrard probably the better out-and-out number 9, but Rooney, all of his whole game was better.
That's the thing. Like, I've got Rooney more like a hybrid 9, more like a 10.
Oh, I've got to put Rooney as a false 9, Ronaldo and Henry going into the box. I've cracked the code, lads. I've cracked the code.
Thing is, though, that is true. Ronaldo and Henry, they played as like strikers.
Can you imagine coming up against Henry, Ronaldo, and Rooney?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Surely Rooney's got to go in, lads.
Just ahead of Aguero.
So we're just basically we're going to have the 2000s team.
Yeah, no, it actually is.
So what we're saying is football has got worse.
Yeah,
it is actually 2000.
That's
a shame.
So, but we're playing the 2000s team in a 2012 Barca style. The false 9.
Correct.
I thought that you had Van Dijk over one of them, Tom. I thought you over Terry and Rio.
Well, Van Dijk is not better than Rio Ferdinand, and that is 100%.
No, I thought about putting Van Dijk in ahead of Terry, but Terry's one more. He's a captain. Van Dijk, it's not done it for long enough, I suppose. I mean, Van Dijk wasn't really considered world class until he was like 25, 26.
The only area we can debate is the midfield of Keane, Lampard, Scholes for Kante, Silva, De Bruyne.
Oh, they're all great.
Even if we can't decide, there's definitely more in this team for the 2000s, so the 2000s one definitely wins.
This is like, was it Roy Keane? They asked him, they said, how do you think your 99 winning side would compare against Liverpool's league title winning side? And he said, I think we'd win 1-0. And then they went, what, only 1-0? He went, yeah, most of us are in our 50s now.
That was Brian Robson, I think.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, Robson. Or something like, I think it was him, yeah.
I thought it was Roy Keane that said that.
Roy Keane and Carragher did do a 99 Liverpool combined 11 last year on Monday Night Football, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did do that. And
yeah,
Keane put himself in it.
Keane wanted Giggs, didn't he, in that team, I think?
Yeah,
Carragher took him out.
Giggs. Yeah.
Right. I think that's it then, lads.
Yeah.
After all that, the 2000s were better than the 2010s.
It's a good topic.
Oh, some great players.
Yeah, elite players. It's weird how we picked the older team considering we were all younger as well.
I know.
Yeah.
No, that decade was ridiculous. You'd put it ahead of the 90s as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, most likely.
It does feel like the sort of golden age of players.
It was.
I mean, I know you get, historically great players and Baresi and whoever, but like when you look at 2000 and, I don't know,
you look at all the foreign
2
players.
to 10 Premier League.
Kaka, Ronaldinho, Ronaldo. There's a lot of players in that time that would have loved to watch more of.
Right.
But yeah, I think we've decided.
Should we call it there then?
Nice one. So we've decided that out of both decades, only players from the 2000s get in.
Yes.
Jesus. Right. I didn't think that would happen. I thought there'd be some, but now that I look at it,
no.
I thought maybe De Bruyne would get in there, but
yeah.
If you had to choose between De Bruyne and Gerrard, who are you having?
Gerrard.
Oh, still, you're United fans. Amazing.
Yeah, I know.
That shows.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
All right. It's a good look for this podcast, isn't it?
I like it.
Yeah, that was good. I really enjoyed that.
It's a good subject matter. I'm surprised at the players that some of you came with, but yeah.
Thought that idea in a bath.
I can't believe James Milner didn't make the 11, but,
A very honourable mention.
Yeah, longevity, if it comes into it.
I know.
I mean, he's going to be playing until about 2030, so...
Oh, no.
Right, we'll let you enjoy your peanuts, Tom. Thanks for your contribution.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Thanks
Lovely.
for having me on.
We'll come back with something else at some point.
Yeah.
Lovely.
I'll
Cheers,
do it
boys.
Next week again.
Right, then.
See you later.
Nice one. Cheers.
Goodbye.